What is up, YouTube? It's Buddy G here, and welcome to the first episode of Let's Whine About Gear. Now, I made a video asking what you wanted to see and if you'd be interested in these type of videos and what I was going to name it or whatever. And I thought about it for a while, and I thought, Let's Whine About Gear is a good idea, where I drink some wine and I talk about some gear. Today's episode is about the Waldorf Streichfett. Now, I could have gone over a lot of different stuff, but I thought I'd go over this first because it's small and easy, and these videos aren't really in-depth reviews or overviews or anything like that. It's just me kind of yapping about gear for a little while. So with that being said, today I'm drinking this Magnia Taurus. I don't know, I'm horrible at reading, especially stuff that isn't English, or is English, but I just suck at reading. Either way, it's a red. It's California red wine, 2013. I'm not a big wine snob. I'm going to be drinking it out of this coffee mug because I drink my wine out of coffee mugs. Because I like coffee mugs, so they're going to be drank out of coffee mugs. Sorry for not using a proper glass and all that kind of stuff. So hope you enjoy the video. So let's get over to this guy and get talking about it. All right. So we have the Waldorf Streichfett here. So, because this is wine about gear, we're going to talk about what I don't like about it first. And then we'll get into the stuff I do like about it. So, first thing I don't like about it is that it does not have a filter built in. Now, I understand a lot of the early string synths didn't have filters built in, but I think this unit would have really highly benefited from having its own filter built in. Because me personally, I use it to make the majority of my pads, or drone type sounds, or just other random kind of noise in the background. And it's really strong for that. But having a filter means I have to record it in, process it after the fact, and put it back on one of my pieces of gear for playback or something like that if I want to use it live. I could use this live, but it can be done, but the way my workflow is, it's not really good for that. So what I kind of do to compensate a little bit is I use this little monotron here and run the out of the Streichfett into the monotron and then into whatever, and then I can just use the filter on this. Adds a lot of noise because it's really noisy, but it helps, with that vintage sound because it's noisy and artifacty and things like that. So, that being said, what's the next thing I don't like? The other big gripe I have with this is that it is Omni MIDI. So you can't set a specific MIDI channel for it to use. So any device, say like I have this Korg sampler here, each one of these pads on the sampler is an individual MIDI channel. But because this is Omni, it accepts all MIDI data on all channels. So as I go through each channel here, it's activated, which is really frustrating because then you have to use like a MIDI through device that allows you to filter MIDI channels on the output, like the iConnect MIDI Plus, which is what I use. So that way other MIDI channels aren't interfering with this. So it gives you a little more setup time for like a live setting, and you have to have extra gear if you were to use this in a live setting. Now I know the goal of this wasn't meant to be used as a live setting. It's more of a studio piece. But with that being said, those little things could make a huge difference on how this is used. So other than that, those are my two big gripes that I have with this, or whines as it were, because this is wine about gear. Other than that, I wish I had a MIDI through along with the MIDI out, so you could use this in a chain and it didn't have to be the last thing in the chain. Audio in would have been nice to use the effects because I really love the reverb on this. It just gets really just big and lush. Right? Just right? So Audioing would have been nice to be able to use these effects. You know, for me, just the reverb, but not everyone, you know, wants this for the reverb. The phaser and animator are kind of cool. They do some cool stuff, like the animators. Kind of like a LFO kind of effect, and the phasers. You know, it's a phaser effect. Nothing. Nothing to write home about with the phaser. It's your standard, typical phaser. So, the form factor is nice. So, that's good. No complaints about the form factor. So I guess we'll kind of transition into the good stuff I like about it, because you know, whining doesn't necessarily mean bad things. It's just I'm going to talk about the bad things first instead of second, because it's whine about gear. So good things is that it sounds amazing. Now, some of you may be like, that sounds really digital and crummy. Well, the string machines of yesteryear were all kind of mostly digital and really kind of low bitrate and crummy sounding. You know, that's what made them amazing, is that you could get kind of close with some of the sounds, but in general, they weren't like a real string quartet, but they just had a magic to them. And I think this captures that magic, the Streichfett here, or spreadable fat. That's what it roughly translates to. It just captures that magic of the 70s and 80s strings, I think, and string synths. And today's day, you know, music production, you can do so much cool things with this and just add a certain thing to your life, like your sound. Like, I love this. This is my favorite piece of gear next to my Electron equipment. Like, I just love the sounds that this thing produces. Sometimes it can be annoying to kind of get the sound that I have in my head out with it, but it's so limitingly versatile. That makes sense, that you can use it for almost anything. Like, I've done like dub techno chords on this thing. Not the best sounding dub techno chords, but they were different and they were mine. And, you know, not everyone's going to think of the Streichfett for that. And there's lots of jam videos of people doing some really nice ethereal, atmospheric kind of sounds with this. So it's really nice. You know, you have a string section that gives you a variety of different types of strings. So I'll just kind of run through these real quick. You know, just put it on the string here. Right, let's do a low attack and kind of a bit of a release there. So you got a violin type sound, viola type of sound, and a cello type of sound. And if you look the way these bars are working, as you move up, it starts mixing a little bit of each element into each one until you get over here and it just gets like pure craziness. Right? Got kind of a brass sound here. Kind of an organ type sound. Wire, and it just like you kind of get a mix of all of them. Which is nice. And then you could do a mix of choir and chorus, right? And then you can do an ensemble, which kind of just multiplies everything, kind of like a super saw, but with strings. Listen how dreamy that is. Just reverb on there. Phasers down, animators down. Now just imagine a little filter, maybe a little bit delay on there, you know, some EQ. You really have a nice, like, just, you know, crescendo type, not really crescendo, but a nice, like, sound that would go in anything. Just pitch it up and down a little bit. You could really do some really cool stuff. And then over here in this section, you have kind of a solo section that'll do kind of high, lower, and mid-tone. Same with this. You have your high tones, your mix of both, and your bass tones. So here, you have like a bass sound. What's kind of fun is this little attack here. It has a percussive element, which basically just adds some transient to the front. Adds a bit of a transient to the front. You can turn that off. You got a nice little bass sound here. Turn the tremolo down. You can go real right, and you kind of go up here and do an electric piano kind of sound. You really tell the tremolo on this guy. Animator up there, reverb up. Now you're not going to get like those really crazy jazzy chords that you're going to get with like, some Rhodes VSTs or a Rhodes emulator, but you can get some cool unique stuff. Make sure all this is turned down. Kind of have like a saw synth kind of sound, which uses kind of similar sounds as some of these kind of mixed together, right? The tremolo can be really nice on this too. Reverb in there. Listen to that, that's like 80 synthwave right there. Nice arpeggio on here. It's like almost an instant synthwave kind of sound right there, right? You got a Plato or whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it, so feel free to flame me in the comments. The tremolo, sounds nice. Then you get into fun stuff where you start mixing, say, like mix synth sound with like maybe organ. Kind of just that nice little bit of a high. Obviously, I'm not a keyboard player, so I can't really do crazy justice with this. I'm only doing 3-note chords and not the crazy polyphony that this has. But it's got some again, Again, I'm not a crazy piano player. I just do some basic chords and stabs and make pads and things, but this thing sounds amazing. It's a lot of fun to experiment and play with and just really do some cool stuff. You know, they got a good form factor. It would be nice if it had been a little smaller. Knobs could have been a little smaller, but you know, it's good. They're good for gripping. They're a little slippery because they have like a gloss finish to them. Mine's obviously dusty because I never cover it up. But with that said, it's a cool little box. It's definitely worth the buy, especially if it's on sale or you find it used on eBay. I think for what it is, it might be slightly overpriced, but there's a lot of DSP going on in here, so you know, you're probably paying for some of that development time. Plus, you're paying for the Waldorf name a little bit. And if you've been around for a while in the synth world, you know Waldorf makes some amazing digital synths. Okay, well, that was the Waldorf Streichfett. Hope you enjoyed my little attempt here at giving an idea or overview of the gear. Again, like I said, it wasn't going to be too detailed, and it really wasn't. Just kind of me talking about what I like and don't like about it, some improvements I think it could have, and kind of going through some of the presets. So hope you enjoyed. It's a fun little box, I think. You know, it's light, small. It's got these little hooks in the bottom, and it's even got a thread for, I think it did. No, it doesn't. I thought it did. For a stand, but it has these little notches that, you know, I use with my Legos to mount it. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, give me a thumbs up because it really helps me know that you're enjoying the content I'm putting out and what content I'm putting out you like the most. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like it, because also it lets me know people didn't like this. You know, in the comment, if you don't like it, let me know why you didn't like it. Say, you know, I didn't like the format, or I didn't like the content, I didn't like how you filmed it, I hate your face, you know, whatever. If you did like it, let me know what you did like about it. Maybe let me know where I can improve on things, or suggestion for next piece of gear. I mean, that's really the big thing, is what gear you want me to do next. I may listen to it, I may not. I obviously didn't with this because the first video was an overview of what I'm using and how I use it, but didn't have time for that today. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and if you're a regular coming back, make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I have a new upload. And I will see you next time.